us all together. Lord, we gather in your name as children of a sovereign God. Forever we proclaim, to God be all glory.
Well, good afternoon. How you doing? It is Saturday, July 5th, 2025. Welcome to episode 371 of the Thinking Theologians. We continue our journey through the scriptures for today. We read Psalms 115 through 118. The title of today is Trust in the Lord, Not in Man. The focal scriptures in Psalms 118, verse 8. And this is what it says. It is better to take refuge in the Lord than to trust in humanity. So trust is a big factor when it comes to dealing with people. I have people in my life that I trust, and I've had people in my life that I did not trust. I've had both. So I'm speaking to you from personal experience on this, how big trust is. The people I trust are those who have high morals and do their best to live for God. There are people that I know they're going to do the best they can, and they have high morality, and they're trying to live for God as best as they can. Doesn't mean they're perfect by any means. But what it does mean is that they're striving to do the right thing, and they have standards. They have high standards. And those standards come out in how they deal with many different things. If I'm going to trust you with information about myself or trust you with certain things, I need to be able to trust you that you won't repeat it and trust that you'll give good godly wisdom. And that's where my trust comes from. I know different people may have different ways. That's kind of how I do that, and how I determine whether I can trust you or not as an individual. And so they are honest and they are consistent. They demonstrate behaviors that are consistent with what the Bible teaches. These people get my respect and my heart in conversations. They do. They get everything from me. My wife is one of those people. I trust, and I know what's going to be said is going to stay there. And there's just a huge process and a huge area of trust there. Now, I've also been around people that I have not trusted. I had someone in a leadership position before that I told them to their face that I did not trust them, like straight to their face. And they were not real happy about that. This person, and the reason I didn't trust them, this person talked about the people. They were consistently negative. They behaved different depending on circumstances. And then they tried to intimidate me into trusting them. They basically threatened me and said, hey, I'm going to tell people you don't trust me. And this is a problem. I said, you're right, I don't trust you. Now, whether or not they told anybody what I said, I don't know. But I told them directly to their face how I felt about them in that situation, and numerous other things. Needless to say, that relationship was not good, and I severed it almost immediately after that conversation because that person just revealed more why they couldn't be trusted as that conversation went on. And so trust in a conversation is a big deal, because once I realized 100%, at that point, I was about 90% sure I couldn't trust this person. But after that conversation, it was 100% sure I couldn't trust that person. And so I had to remove myself from the position and the situation I was in, because I couldn't be around somebody who, in my opinion, had no morals and couldn't be trusted in anything they said or anything they did. And then being in a leadership position, I could not follow somebody like that. So in today's reading, we are reminded that our trust, though, cannot be in people, but it must be in God. So in that situation, whether it's somebody I trust completely, like my wife, or this other individual, my faith and hope cannot be in them for trust. It must be in the Lord. And so this doesn't mean we never trust people, but it does mean that they can't be our primary source of trust. The author here is making it clear that trust must be focused on the greatest actor in the universe, and that is God. He is explaining that our trust for God must dwarf our trust in others. So what does this mean for believers today? It means that we need to gauge our trust that we have in the Lord. Our trust for the Lord should be passionate and absolute. We should know 100% that we trust the Lord, and we trust completely what He says He will do, what He would do, what He does. We can take to the bank. God will never let us down and never break His promises to us. Unlike the person I said earlier, God will never break trust or act in ways that is contrary to biblical standards. I don't ever have to worry about God behaving that way and doing that, but for other people, I can. That's why my faith and hope cannot be in individuals. It must be in the Lord. And that's what the biblical verse is talking about today. So how much do you trust the Lord today? Do you trust Him whenever things are difficult? Do you trust him when you can't see what the next steps are? What I want to get you to see today is that trust is is building relationships. If you don't trust the Lord, it will be hard to follow him. If there is anyone you can trust, it is God. Don't allow the hurt or betrayal of others to influence you negatively. Um, if that situation that I was telling about, that individual, I've already had a difficult time trusting people in my life. As I said, I'm a pretty trusting person, but this person, in that setting, I have a very difficult time trusting people in that setting now because of what was happening and what was going on. Because not only did that show certain betrayal in that aspect from the leadership position from that person, but then there was also other betrayal in other areas and other things that were just really hurt. But I have to understand that I can't allow those to dictate how I trust the Lord. And so I can't allow it to influence me negatively. So trust the Lord more than man. He's the only one who will never let you down. And that's something I have to remind myself and things that are going on, things that are happening. So that's my challenge to you. Trust in the Lord, not in man, especially when things go sideways and don't go the way you're looking. Understand that God is in control and that God is going to work through everything. So sorry, I was looking at my background behind me. It was a little crooked. I was trying to figure out why. So thank you for being with us here today. I get so distracted sometimes over little things. So thank you for being with us today. Tomorrow we will be in Psalms 119, the longest chapter in the Bible, and then we'll be halfway through our reading plan for the year. So thank you for being with us today. Have a good day, and I will see you tomorrow. Goodbye.